man? It's your boy Bennett. I'm back with another video. And a very, very crucial trade just went down in the NFL. Russell Wilson made his way to Denver in a trade that the Broncos had gave away their starting tight end, and Noah Fant, starting defensive end, and some picks, and Drew Lock as well. But that didn't really mean much because they did receive Russell Wilson in return. And in today's video, I'm going to be seeing how well will Russell Wilson do with the Denver Broncos? How far can he take this team? And what type of impact will he have on the Denver Broncos with him coming to Denver? And we will also take a look at Seattle to see how much of a difference Seattle's record will look like without Russell Wilson. And so, yeah, so let's hop right into the video. Man, the way we're going to do this video is first things first, man. In real life, the Broncos went 7-10, as well as the Seattle Seahawks with 7-10 before the trade went down. So in the 2021 season, both teams found a way to go 7-10, and both teams did make the playoffs. And the Broncos went last in their division, and I believe Seattle did too. So I'm just gonna sim to the midway point, see where they're at the halfway mark, see how well they're doing. I may switch up the scheme a little bit just because it's a new QB. And maybe Russell Wilson isn't the type of player that fits the Broncos scheme. And then I'll proceed to sim to the second half of the season. If they make playoffs, then I'll sim to playoffs with the, you feel me, the second half scheme. And then we'll see how far they go. And yeah, so let me go ahead, sim right quick. Oh, man, now that we're at the halfway mark, the Broncos are 4-3, second, number 2 in the division, which is very, very good. In real life, I don't believe they're going to beat the Chiefs out that division. So far, pretty accurate. So let's go ahead, head over to these stats, take a look at how good Russell Wilson is doing for this team. And he is doing terrible. He is pretty much last in the league in passing yards from what I just seen, with only 1,300 passing yards, 15 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I'm guessing they've been running the ball a lot. Melvin Gordon has 500 yards on 132 attempts. And then Javonte Williams has 48 yards, 48 attempts, 184 yards. Let's look at that compared to all the other teams in the NFL. Because as we clearly just saw, wow, I'm tripping. As we just saw, Russell Wilson is 30th in the league for passing yards, which is not what we want to see from Russell Wilson in this team. But you never know. That could be how it goes in real life. I will be switching the scheme because that's not the performance I want. I want to make sure to put them in a situation where they can do as best as possible. But surprisingly, Drew Lock is having a better performance as far as passing yards, but he does have a worse touchdown to interception ratio, and he also has less touchdowns compared to Russell Wilson, but has 600 more passing yards than him. Hopefully, switching the scheme can end up turning Russell Wilson's season around. So compared to starting quarterbacks, yeah, it looks like he's at the bottom half. A name that I don't expect to see here in real life, Josh Allen being also at the bottom of the barrel as far as starting QB goes. So yeah, so Russell Wilson, he's thrown a lot of touchdowns but has little passing yards. And I can accept that, but I do want him to be a little higher on the rankings as far as passing yards go. Let's see. Okay, so Tom Brady's leading in Tom Brady and Pat Mahomes. Taylor Heinicke, he's surprisingly having an amazing season. But this isn't about him. So compared to all the other QBs, he is throwing pretty well as far as passing touchdowns go, and only has 3 interceptions on the season, which is probably some of the most from the starting QB. I mean, some of the least from the starting QBs. Yeah, so 3. Yeah, he's at the bottom tier as far as interceptions goes. Let's look at his passing completion percentage. Excuse me. Let's see where he compares. So it looks like he's about at the halfway mark as far as pass completion percentage. Maybe at the above, like top 10, maybe top 15. As far as pass completions percentage goes. So it looks so far that he's having a pretty average year. Not too much of a breakout year as far as with the Broncos, but they're winning games. They're 4-3 right now, second in their division, which is possible to get them to the playoffs. So I'm gonna go ahead, switch the scheme, and then sim to the second half of the season to see how well they do. Oh man, so they were in a West Coast zone run before, but we will be switching to the vertical power run just because, as y'all can clearly see, we have 79% scheme fit, and compared to all the other schemes that's in this has the highest percentage. So we're gonna go with this one. Hopefully, this can make them perform a lot better, get some more wins, and hopefully they can make the playoffs. And so yeah, so let me go ahead and sim right quick, and then we can see where they're at the end of the season. Oh man, what an underwhelming season from the Denver Broncos with Russell Wilson. They were unfortunately weren't able to make the playoffs. They went 8-9, and they went third in their division. Chargers went number two. I'm guessing they beat them out within those divisional games. So let's kind of see how the season played out for the Denver Broncos. We're not going to worry too much about the playoff bracket because this is a video strictly on how well the Denver Broncos did. So let's go ahead and go to these stats and awards. Let's see if we got any player of the weeks and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and scroll through this right quick. Broncos is an AFC team, so let's go ahead and scroll, see if we find anybody. Okay, so Russell Wilson did win it week 6. He did win Player of the Week. Let's see if any other Denver Broncos players won it. So Jackson and Johnson, they both won in week 2 and week 3 on the defensive end. And that's it for Player of the Week. So let's go ahead and look at these awards. I doubt any Broncos players is on the awards. So we got Patrick Mahomes winning the MVP. I know they didn't win Coach of the Year. So not offensive player of the year, not defensive. Let's just scroll till we find a different Broncos player. If we do, nobody, no. Oh, Melvin Gordon's all the way 10th for best running back. Any receivers up here? Nope, nope, nope. So it looks like Russell Wilson was unfortunately not able to even improve this team as far as record wise because, like I said before, they went 7-10. Wait, no, they went 8-9 in this. So Russell Wilson was able to get them one more game compared to in real life or last season. He was able to win one more game. Wasn't able to make the playoffs just like in real life. So he's 29th in passing yards, which is not what we like to see. 27 to 26 for his touchdowns to interception ratio, which is pretty great. Pass completion percentage 63, not too bad. So it doesn't look like it's Russell Wilson's fault necessarily to why they didn't make playoffs. He just wasn't able to have that superstar season in order to kind of carry them to the playoffs. Let's see, did the run game get going? Melvin Gordon had 1,100 yards on the season. That's nothing too crazy. I'm pretty sure there's many halfbacks ahead of him. Let's look at receivers. So Russell Wilson's number one target ended up being Cortland Sutton, and then his tight end from Albert O. He has 750 yards on the season. And then we got Jerry Jeudy, the young prospect, 657 yards, 6 touchdowns. Let's see if there's any unfortunate injuries, because injuries are on just because I want it to be as realistic as possible. So let's go ahead and see. So he did end up playing every game of the season. So Russell Wilson did not have this bad of a season because of injuries or anything like that. So let's go ahead and take a look at him compared to the rest of the league, and then we can go ahead and wrap up this video. So boom. Let's go ahead and go look at passing yards. Okay, so we got Matt Ryan with 5,000 yards, 5,400 yards on the season. So let's go ahead and scroll all the way down to Russell Wilson. So it's about a 2,000 yard gap between Russell Wilson and the number one passing yards QB. Let's look at this touchdowns. How high is he up on the touchdowns? So Pat Mahomes has 44. Russell Wilson has 27. Russell Wilson was not able to perform very well this season for the Denver Broncos, but 6 interceptions is pretty great. That's what you want out of a quarterback. You don't want him throwing too many interceptions. So I applaud him for having 6 INTs, but as far as those passing yards and passing touchdowns go, he's going to have to perform way better than he did. And yeah, so let's go ahead and look at the team roster one more time, man. And then we can go ahead head over to the outro. So, boom. So as y'all can clearly see, we got Russell Wilson, man, at an 89 overall. He was only able to improve a little bit, considering he's a vet, which is understandable. He was only able to reach 89 overall. Jerry Jeudy stayed star. So he had no superstar receiver, so he doesn't really have that great of targets to throw to, so that's pretty understandable. As far as defensively, I expected this defense to kind of carry throughout the season, but unfortunately they weren't able to. It looks like Bryce Callahan went down during the season, which isn't a great loss for the Broncos on this defensive end, considering he's one of their top cornerbacks. And so yeah, so that's wraps the video, man. If y'all enjoyed seeing what the Denver Broncos would do with Russell Wilson and Madden, make sure y'all hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you sub up and turn on that post notification bell so you get notified every single time I post. And comment down below what type of videos you'd like to see from me next. And the Carson Wentz video with Washington will be on the way soon. I will be doing that next. It's your boy Bean, and I'm out.
Jump in the coupe and go top speed. I can't believe that they crossed me. Young nigga be sounding like